Hello and welcome to Juggling Hats and Homes. My name is Harry Truman and this is...
Hello, I'm Alex Tan.
So if you're a newbie listener to our little podcast, you won't know much about me and Alex. So I run the lettings division for Andrew's property group. And we do these podcasts semi-regularly, once a month or so. We tend to follow the same format. So I'll talk about lettings, Alex will talk about sales, and then we talk about some other things that are to do with normally juggling parenthood or being a woman in this industry, things like that we tend to talk about. From the name, it's supposed to be a bit about the letting agents, a bit about estate agency, and a bit about juggling parenthood in between. So what format are we going to do today, Alex? Is it lettings first today?
You're going to kick off for us today on letting side, please, Harry.
Great. Okay. So lettings, we are really busy with arranging all of our summer pipelines at the moment. So the teams, I keep looking at the figures and the teams are agreeing a massive amount of deals are going in. We have quite a lot of student stock, so loads of deals that are going in July, August, September. And they're getting ready for the student changeover as well. So what we're going to have soon is a massive amount of students moving out, a very short period to get those properties ready and back to a lettable condition. And then we have to move a load more tenants in ready for the start of the student year. So a lot of my teams are really busy with that at the moment, which is really good. The branches that are not so student heavy, we're seeing a really good number of instructions coming on, so really positive actually. With even though we've got a lot of changes, we've got the election looming, I think we're still getting landlords bringing their rental properties to market, which is really positive, and really good to see some of these properties coming on our books. We've had a couple of portfolio landlords come to us recently as well, which is good. So just bringing those on over time because they're large portfolios, yeah, we're seeing I'd say we're seeing landlords consider their agents more at the moment. So we are starting to see more landlords coming to us from other agents where they've had potentially bad service, which is interesting actually. I always thought that landlords were really loyal to their agents, and it took a lot for a landlord to move. But yeah, we're seeing a bit more of that recently, which is quite interesting. But not too much of an impact because of the election that's looming, other than the fact that the rental reform bill went out the window. So pretty positive. Lots of busy activity from the teams, which is good. Need to get this summer out the way, and then things start to quieten down a little bit for lettings as we go into the autumn. Although October and November always tend to be quite strong months as well. What about you, Alex? What's been going on in the world of sales recently?
I love the fact that you say get summer out the way. So where's the sunshine? Have we had any sunshine yet? Goodness
We haven't.
It was interesting because talking about like summer, elections, estate agency, it's been a bit of a whirlwind with the election because I think there's always the excuses. We talked about it in our last podcast about having excuses and seasonality, but there was a survey that Rightmove did in May. They literally surveyed over 14,000 people, and they said that, and this was in May, so this is recent current data, and 95% of those people said that the election would not affect their decision to buy. So therefore, these are some hefty numbers, 95% of people. So they're not seeing it as an excuse or a barrier to be able to buy and sell, which is really encouraging, because I think that May was a quieter month for us, but June we're seeing best and final offers, open houses, so it hasn't affected the market. And one of the things and the trends that Rightmove looked at is in the previous elections in 2015 and 2019 that there's a bounce post-election. So we're gearing up and getting ready for that, which would be amazing because we're already having some really strong activity. So people were fretting. I think especially in the lettings industry because of everything that's happening. So many changes, and I think it kind of had a bit more of a negative effect on you guys on that stance. Whereas for us, we were quite happy that it was happened earlier than usual, because I think it was originally predicted in like August, September time that they might have called the election. So I'm glad to be getting it out the way. But I wouldn't say that for once it's actually affected our business in a negative light. So it's good news for us. Really good news.
That's good. I mean, for lettings, it will. whichever party get in, I think it will have a huge effect for the lettings industry, because obviously rental reform bill as it stands is off the table. All political parties have put in different aspects into their manifestos or their contract with the people of what they want to do for landlords. It is a hot topic, isn't it? The removal of Section 21. And so it's going to have an impact. And I know that landlords are cautious of this. So I met with a landlord last week and he was saying, what do you think is going to happen? We're a bit worried about when Section 21 is banned. So I think landlords that we're not seeing it in the activity right now, but I just think whatever happens on July the 4th and whatever political party gets in, we will see a knock-on effect from that. I saw a post today and they were talking about our landlords trying to get their Section 21s in now because they know it's going to be banned. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing a huge spike in Section 21s being served. So it's a bit of a pessimistic viewpoint there from whoever put that post out. But yeah, I think for us, similar to you, I guess, there's no change right now, but we are conscious that change is coming and that this will significantly affect landlords, whatever happens. So just gearing up for that, really.
Watch this space.
Watch this space, yeah. Whatever happens on the 4th of
We'll
July.
Be ready for it. That's that's the thing, isn't it? The usual cliched slogan, if you like, control the controllables. We're used to being able to duck and dive and pivot, whatever anything throws at us, and we'll be ready. Yes. So on to the next part. We've talked about sales and lettings, elections, and everything that we're doing. We're having a bit of a Harry Truman special because there's lots going on. You have just been on the big stage at the most amazing conference, Propertymark One, where you got to interview the amazing 𝗵𝗴𝗴𝗶𝗴𝗴𝗹𝗶. So I just want to see, in terms of your experience, in terms of what that was like for you personally, as well as actually what your takeaways were from Claire, because I think it's really interesting when you actually have to gear up to a big event, and it was one of the biggest audiences that you've presented to as well, Harry. So it'd be really nice to hear from your perspective in terms of your mindset, how you felt as well on the day, and obviously the takeaways from Claire. So tell us.
Well, so first of all, it was an amazing event. It is really a really special event in any letting agent and estate agent's calendar. It's something that we look forward to. It's massive. There's 1,500 delegates there. So many suppliers, some amazing speakers. So I was already really looking forward to the event as it was. And yeah, then I was asked to interview 𝗵𝗴𝗴𝗶, which is a pretty daunting task. I've only ever spoken in front of about 300 people. It's probably my biggest crowd, but I do a lot of public speaking. So the actual prospect of public speaking wasn't that terrifying. It was just the fact that it was such a massive crowd. But I think the main thing for me is that I wasn't actually really speaking. Like, it's all about Claire, it's her session. I was just asking the questions off a piece of paper. I ask a lot of questions anyway, so that was good. I didn't have to...
You were perfect for the role.
Yeah. I didn't have to remember anything, which is that's what I tend to be quite nervous of. Am I going to remember it all correctly? So for me, it was just about reading those questions. But I was really conscious that I wanted to build that rapport with Claire really quickly. I wanted her to feel comfortable. I didn't want her to feel nervous. So I had to build that rapport quite quickly. So we met in the green room beforehand for about 40 minutes. And we were talking before we were on the stage, which was really good. Got to know her a little bit more, asked her some questions about her journey and things, and really got to understand a little bit more about where she is now and sort of a bit about her journey to getting there. So that was really good. And then we went on stage then, and it was pretty nerve-wracking, really. I was really conscious about like how I was sitting, and I really didn't want to be reading the questions too much. I wanted to be looking at her, but they were quite long questions. So I threw in a few extra questions as well, which she wasn't expecting, just off the back of what she was saying. I think that's important. In a natural conversation, people will ask you a question and you'll ask a follow-up question sometimes based on what they've said. So I really wanted to do a bit of that. I think it went really well. We had lots of good feedback afterwards. Amazing. People saying that they really enjoyed that session. So I was really pleased with how it went, and I was really grateful to Propertymark for asking me to do that. I think that was a great career highlight, and she shared some amazing learnings with us all.
Well done, Harry. You absolutely smashed it. And I think by looking at the photos, however you sat was perfect, because you look bloody brilliant. So
Good.
what were the main takeaways, would you say, from the questions and obviously everything that happened in the day?
Yeah, so the whole title of the session was about culture in business. So she talked a lot about how important culture is to success in a team and in a business. And she talked about how when she joined, uh, I mean, she was Frank Williams' daughter, so she sort of grew up in the Williams F1 team. But she, when she was appointed as principal, she spent a bit of time looking at the culture that was in the business, and she found out that it was actually quite negative from a staff engagement survey. So she did a lot of work to improve that culture. Williams were always the underdog. They had a fraction of the budget of some of the massive teams like Ferrari and Red Bull. So they were always the underdog. There was the fighter, and she really wanted to get that sort of culture back. But it was a big family business, so she wanted to sort of bring that back as well. So she did a lot of work on culture. She stepped into her father's shoes as principal. So I think she was conscious that she wanted to emulate some of his most successful management techniques with the team, but she didn't want to actually be him. She wanted to sort of evolve his management style for the 21st century. So she talked a little bit about that, about how not just his management style, but his way of doing business she had to evolve that for a more modern business, I guess. And then the other thing she talked a lot about was she was one of two female principals of F1 teams at the time, and then she became the only one. And she talked about how she tried not to make her feel conscious about being the only woman. She said she gave an example that sometimes after a race she would meet with, I don't know, 25 different journalists, and some of them would ask her, what's it like being a woman running an F1 team? And she said initially she sort of answered and as you would, but then after a while she started thinking, why are you asking me this? You're not asking people how they feel being a man of an F1 team. Why is it any different? So she started to become quite aware. Yeah, she started to become quite aware of that, and but also she didn't want to do anything differently as a result. She just wanted to be her. She wanted to run the team how she thought it should be run. So I asked her a question, which was an extra question actually, which has she ever dialed up her male? We talk about some women in senior roles, they feel like they need to become more masculine. And she said that she'd never been asked that question, and she didn't think she dialed up her male. She ran the team as she thought she should, and that was it, basically. She didn't want to be known for being a woman running an F1 team. She just wanted to run a successful F1 team. So some really good learnings there in terms of being a woman in a senior leadership position. We shared a couple of stories in the green room about that beforehand, and I think we really had a bit of a connection there. So that was really good. And some really good learnings about culture and business. And she shared some of her learnings as well. So she talked about how you shouldn't make rash decisions. You should get data, and you should ask as many people as possible before you make a decision, and things like that. So yeah, lots of really, really great learnings from Claire. I was really, really pleased with that.
So in terms of your research and your background on her, I'm really intrigued to know what you did, because for me, I haven't been an F1 fan until I started to watch Drive to Survive on Netflix. Oh my gosh, I am an F1 fan now.
Are you?
Absolutely love it. But that is, unfortunately, I don't like to say, but it is based on me watching the Netflix story, just because you get the background and you get to know the individuals. Because before I'd be a case of, oh yeah, F1's on, and you just see them driving around in circles. Well, there's obviously a lot more to it, but you get into all of the detail in terms of, the individuals, the data, the mechanics, and how it is a massive team, because you have these key drivers, don't you?
Yeah.
But it is about the success of the team. So it's just interesting, especially like you said, Claire coming into it, and as a woman. And I've loved watching it. So you've got a great deal of background on Claire. So what did you do to research her before you met with her?
Yeah, so I wouldn't class myself as an F1 fan really. My husband is. He loves F1. So he knew a lot about her. I've been to Silverstone. I went to the British Grand Prix a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. I'd love to go again. It was like a festival. It was fantastic. But I don't really. He watches it, and then I'm like, who's winning? Oh, okay. I'm not really that. I don't pay that much attention. I don't really watch any sport really. So I had to do a bit of research before we met. There's a film about her about her and Frank Williams, so I watched that.
Oh,
And then I just
amazing.
did a bit of research in terms of just her story and as much internet research as I can, just to sort of try and familiarize myself with her a bit before I met her. So yeah, that was it really. I think I might start watching Drive to Survive now, actually, because a few people have said it's good, and she's
You
on there
must.
obviously running the team first, but then now she's on there
Yeah.
as a pundit or whatever it is now. So yeah,
Definitely watch it. Anybody that's listening to this, go and watch it. I think it's amazing. It's brilliant. Um,
great.
and talking of background and amazing women, so next week on Friday, officially, Harry Truman will be the president of ARLA
Whoop, whoop.
Propertymark, which is so exciting.
Yes.
So, Harry, you have a year of your presidency coming up.
Hmm.
It's been 2 years in the running, because obviously
Yeah.
it's spanned over 3 years, so a very exciting time. So
Yeah.
talk to us about your plans and what's next and what it looks like for you.
So it's this Friday, it's the AGM, which is very exciting. I have a speech ready. I'm really excited to take up this role. I think it's I've wanted to do this for so long, since I became an ARLA member, I'd say. So I'm really, really grateful to take up the position, and I can't wait for what is going to be a mental year, because I'm going to be having to be president alongside running my, doing my day job. So which is already quite a lot of work. But I'm really looking forward to getting out on the road, meeting members, talking to members as much as I can, listening to their feedback, trying to help them use their membership as effectively as possible, and then also talking to people about the benefits of bringing more members in, whether it's in their businesses or whether it's just with total non-members, completely. I think I truly believe my Propertymark membership has really assisted me in my career. From the very moment that I became a member right the way through to now, I use it all the time, and I really want other members to utilize their membership like I have, so that it can benefit their careers, their jobs, their businesses. I just think I'm really passionate about that, and I can't wait to spend more time talking to members about this and show them that passion for it. But I think for me, one of my personal biggest things that I'm really passionate about within my career is, number one, I'd love to get more young people to aspire to have careers in property. I think there are no kids going home to their parents saying, I want to be a letting agent when I grow up. And I think that's sad, because I think actually you can build a great career out of this. And if you're willing to work hard, and especially if you're not particularly academic, you want to be out and about, it's a great career to start in as a lettings negotiator, as a sales negotiator, being out and about, meeting people, building relationships. I think you can build a really good career, and I'm really passionate about it. And I want to inspire more young people to actually see this as a career to aspire to start and stay in long term. So that's number one. And the other thing I really want to do is I'd like to inspire more women that they can achieve senior roles in businesses. They can be involved in Propertymark. They can go for the presidency. They can become directors in businesses. I'm really, really passionate about that as well. And I think we only do that by having positive role models out there showing that it's possible. So I'm really looking forward to being one of those sort of positive role models for the next year as well, to show more women that they can do it. If I can do it, then they can do it too. So
And you
lots
are
of exciting.
absolutely that. You are absolutely such a huge role model and inspiration. So I'm so excited to see you take up that role. And like you said, I think that exactly those 2 points that you just mentioned, you're already doing that, but you've just got this platform now to really bring it to life and see and meet all of the members. And it's just amazing to see you as a senior woman up there leading the way. So we thank you, all of us women. Thank you, Harry. Bloody brilliant.
So funny, Alex.
It's amazing. It's so well deserved. And I think that it's going to be a great year for you. So I'm very excited. Very excited.
Thank you, Alex. And anyone listening to this, if they want any, advice on their involvement in Propertymark membership, careers in agency, anything like that, please get in contact with me and Alex. We're happy to share our experiences and our advice. And we both really believe strongly in getting more women into senior leadership roles, and also into, Propertymark membership as well. So anyone got any queries, then please get in touch, because we want to share, we want to help.
Definitely. Amazing. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, Harry?
No, just hope everyone can, follow me on my journey over the next year. It's going to be, I am literally every week in a different location from September. It's going to be a mental year. But yeah, if you want to follow me on the journey, I'll be posting things on LinkedIn. I might even make a President Harry Instagram page as well, so I can just record
Oh,
it
I
all in one
love
place.
that. Great idea. Great idea.
Cool.
Love
All
it.
right. Well, thank you very much, Alex. Thanks for asking me all those exciting questions about PM1 and about my presidency. And next month, we'll have to do a Alex Tan special because there's loads to talk about. All about your 1625 work and the amazing job you're doing at Andrews. You're absolutely smashing your region. So yeah, I think maybe we'll have to have a spotlight on you next month.
Thanks, Harry. And thanks everybody for joining the Harry Truman special.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Harry. Bye.
Bye.